Well, it's snowing outside today, but that can't stop Mother's Day from fast approaching. Hi, I'm Debbie Hammerly, Stampin' Up! Independent Demonstrator, and this is Deb Stamps Today. Today I want to show you a couple of Mother's Day cards I've already made, and then we have another one which I will assemble for you, and following that show you a few coloring techniques. So this is the first card today. It's just using some lemon lime twist, island indigo, and some color theory paper, crushed curry, whisper white, and then on the inside, tailored tag punch, and of course, Happy Mother's Day greeting. And for that, I have the dimensions and the colors that I have used for you. And my second card is with always artichoke and perfect plum, more crushed curry. And on the inside, a Mother's Day greeting. Well, you'll notice this little perfect white accent here. That's because when I stamped it, the pressure was off and I got one of those little lines you get, but you can't even tell it's there, can you? Okay, those are our first two cards. Here's the dimensions and colors that I used for card number 2. And card number 3, let me just put this out of the way for now. Card number 3 I'm going to assemble for you. This is a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 wild wasabi. And I have punched out with the decorative ribbon punch here some strips out of Soft Sky. And just to show you, I don't have to measure before punching it out. That kind of makes it a little too precise. So I made them longer and I just adhered them down, and I'm just going to trim off the ends here, which will make them just the perfect size. And I like to do that from the back side. So I use this paper as a guide from where to cut. So there's my card front. Next piece I have is a piece of the Color Theory Designer Series paper pack. This is Berry Burst Stripes, and it's 5 by 3 3/4. I'm going to turn it over, and this time instead of putting the light at the top, I'm going to put it at the bottom of my card face. So I just want those little loopies to show like that there. I also have a 2-inch circle in Whisper White, and on which I have stamped and colored in the basket from Basket of Wishes. And that is going to go kind of at offset on this piece of chocolate chip. Of course, I've laid this out ahead of time in my head so I could practice for you. Yes, I have one more, there it is. One more backing to take off of those little Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Aren't they cute? So then I'm just going to put this one up in the corner like this. I kind of like to have the basket straight that way. Well, don't you know, I did not ink up or decide upon a greeting to put in that inside the card. So here's what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to take this Just Add Text. I'm going to add "You Are So Beautiful to Me." There we go. And I'm going to ink that up in our Memento Black. Just ink that up here. And good, this kind of gives you an idea of how I can do it without too much fuss. So I'm going to stamp this on here on my gridded paper, just to give me an idea. If I line that up with a line, I can see that with this line it stamps fairly evenly for me. So let's give it a little bit more ink. Isn't that fun that I didn't have this done ahead of time for you? Okay, now I'm just going to line this up with the even with the edge of this paper, and I'm not really Doesn't really bother me exactly where it's going to hit, just so that it hits kind of, oh, yes. And there you have it. That is my card front. And now we're going to pull in the card base. Now you will notice that I make my card fronts separate from my base, and I'll show you why. I think it's a lot easier just to work with a flat piece of paper with one little section of the card rather than dealing with the folding a lot. So to make this easier, I make my card base out of white paper. I cut it at 8 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I score it at 4 1/8. This is my card base, and I'll show you why I do it that size. So this is going to fit on here, so when I turn this over, I'm going to turn this over. Now here's the secret, because it's so difficult to adhere two pieces of paper that are the same size without having one edge stick over the other. But this way I have some play in here, and I know I have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So as I press that down, you'll see a border around there. But the front, it still looks like a beautiful card. And when you open it up, there is my Happy Mother's Day. Again, with the tailored tag punches and the classic label punch. And that is how you make 3 beautiful Mother's Day cards. And let me show you those dimensions again for that last card that I just put together. And the last thing I'm going to show you is in the current catalog. Well, that's not the last thing I'm going to show you, but let me show you where I got the ideas from. First of all, page 167 of the annual catalog, just add text. You can see it is a retiring set, but it's still available for order through March 25th. Also, on the front of the cards, I use the Basket of Wishes set. This is also a retiring annual catalog on page 125, still available till March 25th. And the Teeny Tiny Wishes. This is where I got the Happy Mother's Day. Page 36 of the annual catalog, also retiring. Still time to get it. And also I used a couple of the phrases from the Flourishing Phrases set, page 24. This will be coming back for the next annual catalog. And I did say I would show you something about the coloring. So here we have 3 of the baskets. This is just plainly stamped, right off the stamp. This one you can see I used crumb cake and soft suede, and I colored in half of the basket so you could see the contrast. No coloring and then additional coloring. And then in here I'm going to finish off one of the succulents here. And for those colors in there, I've used Tranquil Tide, Old Olive, Wild Wasabi, Lemon Lime Twist, and I'm going to show you Berry Burst. Now, while our Stampin' Blends are unorderable at this time due to manufacturing issues, I'm going to use the blender pens, and I've just inked up a clear block with some Berry Burst from a marker. Take a little bit of that onto my blender pen, and I'm just going to fill in here some of these little leaves like this. And there we go. And you will see that as you take it off first, they're darker and then they lighten up, so you get a nice little contrast of color in there. And that's all there is to it, really, ladies and gentlemen. That's all there is to it. So let me bring my cards back in. You're so beautiful to me, dear Mom. I think it more often than I say it, but I just want you to make sure that you know it. I love you, Mom. And next time you think of wonderful things, don't forget to count yourself and happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. Bye-bye.